What's up, guys? Tastes and Artosis here, and we're at the finals. And we couldn't ask for a better finals, I think. Innovation against SOS.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
We really had a very close couple of matches. Could have been Sulky up here. Could have been MVP up here.
Yeah.
Very close 5-game series.
By the way, incredible TBT that we casted a little bit under 2 hours ago. Innovation and MVP. MVP has not lost his touch.
No, he certainly has not. Definitely one of the top players in the world still, and he really showed it there, Tasteless. That was down to the wire.
And, of course, SOS getting his revenge on Sulky. Really exciting stuff. So now the question is, can the teammate of Sulky manage to get revenge here? Or actually, no, not get revenge. Take out his opponent.
Rub salt in the wounds.
Rub the salt in the wounds. Thank you, Artosis. What does this mean if he does manage to take Innovation out? If Innovation loses to Sulky and then to SOS, can we really say that he's the greatest player alive right now?
Well, I think Sulky has a good argument for that, but we'll see what Innovation can do here against SOS. SOS, a very good PvT player, Tasteless, has some of the most tricky and awesome PvT backed up by great mechanics.
Yeah, you got that right. Innovation, a different play style. It's really all about just solid production, solid unit control, being able to multitask. SOS, a much craftier player. Lots of different build orders coming out of here. Lots of build orders we don't see from any other Protosses. So it's going to be a very interesting match. I think we've sort of been on a roll today with good games. Best of fives going, all the way, all the way to the fifth game. I think we could go all the way to the seventh game here.
I think there's actually a pretty good chance. Both these players are too good to get like 4-0 or 4-1, I think.
Yeah.
And 4-2 is right next to 4-3. So I'm going with a 4-3 Tasteless.
I'm going to go with 4-3 here. I think Innovation wins again, but, Innovation is full of surprises. It seems like he was playing almost a little bit better before he started getting so deep into tournaments like this.
Yeah. Well, I guess, there's a lot of pressure up at the finals. When you're right there, you see the money at the end, you see the championship that you want so badly, it can be really hard to finish that out. As we saw last week in the GSL finals, Innovation outplayed Sulky for the first piece of that and then just fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Experience is so important. You might be the best player in the world when you're in your training house or alone, in your home. But when you come to the big stage and the world is watching, it can be a different situation. That's why I think we saw MVP perform so well against Innovation, despite Innovation's reputation right now being pretty stellar.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing to keep in mind as well. I expect Innovation to be doing better and better as time passes and he has more experience. But right now, he wants to win this finals.
Yeah, he really wants to win this finals, Tasteless. This is, after losing that last one when he was up 3-0, Innovation wants nothing more than this. But you know what? This is something, of course, SOS, he's been a pro gamer for a long time, never been to the finals. He's going to want it as well, but Innovation has recently played on stage, on such a big stage. So
that's very true.
I think that's really going to help him out here.
Yeah. We're going to be getting into this game very shortly here, as this is going to be, it's going to be, I think, a long, dramatic series, but faster than, for instance, a Code S finals here. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You're saying 4-3 Innovation or SOS?
I think 4-3 Innovation.
Yeah, I think 4-3 Innovation,
but
it's hard to say. SOS, we've already seen in WCS so far a lot of incredible builds that I've not seen players do really before ever. So
no.
This is a lot of fun. Innovation, to prepare against him, you want to play against somebody like Flash a bunch. For SOS, there's not really one clear individual you would want to practice against because his playstyle is just weird.
The closest that I've seen to it really is kind of like Seed. Yeah. But it's not like a full match. And that's a problem, actually, with practicing against or for a big Protoss match, is all those top Protosses have their own styles, and no one really replicates each other.
Yeah, it's very true. So this is going to be really interesting. By the way, the WCS is kicking ass. I am loving this new format. It's been really nice. And you know what? We couldn't have asked for a better narrative here with the 4 players we got here in the Final Four. We got the 3 players, 3 of the players from our last CODAS Final Four, and then we get MVP, the best Wings of Liberty player in the world. So
and
this is
one
really
of the
exciting
best
stuff.
One of the best Heart of the Swarm players in the world, after having won Europe and then making it into the top 4 and almost killing Innovation, who may very well just win here. Who knows what MVP could have done against Sulky or against SOS?
Yeah, and I guess we never will know, but for the time being, I am just so hyped for this match. Guys, please get out there, tweet about this, let people know that they can go to GOMTV.net to watch these games, which are going to be epic. I would be very surprised if this was a clean sweep 4-0, 4-1.
Yeah, that would be really, really surprising to me as well. It's just, normally, I feel like it's almost just too volatile based upon builds that can be chosen for it to go that crazily one way.
Now, let's keep in mind, Innovation mostly had to prepare for Terran versus Zergs. Whether that was for the GSL CODAS finals or the multitude of Zerg players he had to face off here in this tournament. Now, he did do well in that TVT, but TVP now a different matchup.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't had as many Protoss players to play against recently outside of Pro League. But SOS, I feel like he's had a more balanced set of races to fight against.
I totally agree with you.
All right, let's take a look. These are the points for everyone here and who they've beaten to get here throughout this tournament. And as you can see, 2 Zergs and 2 Terrans being taken down by Innovation. And SOS, a Zerg, a Terran, a Protoss a Zerg. Yeah, he has a little bit better of a spread of players, at least in this tournament.
So, it's all going to boil down to this moment here. Now, you got to also keep in mind that both of these players played a pretty drawn-out, dramatic best of 5, and fatigue does come into play. Some people get burnt out quicker than others. So, they're going to have to bring everything to the table here in this best of 7 today. Our first map is going to be Whirlwind, and I'm excited. I'm excited already.
I'm excited too.
Tasty. All right, so as you can see, some more stats for you guys down here at the bottom. Feel free to also tweet at us who you think is going to win. I'm really curious about this because I think Artosis and me are on the fence more than normal here going into this match. So I'd love to get some feedback from you guys. I'm Call Me Tasteless on Twitter.
And I am Artosis. Well, I think it makes sense to be more on the fence because this was a really quick weekend tournament that we just had. And we just saw these guys go through a huge bracket in GSL, but that was week to week, watching how much are you improving per week, which matches do you have, and that stuff doesn't play in here quite as much. This is literally like they had almost no time to prepare for each other.
Yeah, this has been a pretty epic last few weeks here in esports. When you look at all the events that are going on with WCS and GSL CODAS finals and how many of these players are actually participating in both, it's pretty crazy. So, obviously these guys, they want to win this. This is a huge moment for them, but it's going to be tough.
And look, most of the stats here, they're actually within about 3% of each other.
That's a very good point.
The match set win percentage, the match win percentage, and even the versus the other person's race set percentage are all so close. Not a ton of stats yet there because Heart of the Storm is so new, but something to point out at least.
Now on the map Whirlwind, this is a really big open map. So drop play going to be very important. We do see occasionally Protoss's turtle in the hopes that they go for quick blink in the hopes that they can actually just catch medevacs coming into their bases. It's also one of these maps where Terran in the middle of the map is going to be able to get some very good concaves on that Protoss army. So sometimes force field's not as useful as they could be on some other maps.
Well, Whirlwind, the one thing that I don't like here as a Protoss player against Terran bases is how easy it is to drop in that main base. It's big, it's wide open, and that can make it a little bit hard. But if SOS can really watch out for that and shut drops down, then the map turns a little bit easier.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Protoss players. I personally like to just go for a quick robo and get a lot of observers around my base just to make sure. The older method was to actually line the outside of your base with pylons. That was actually from Starcraft 1, but then when Starcraft 2 came out, it turns out they just drop next to the pylon and kill it.
Yes, they aren't dropping vultures tasteless.
So Unfortunately, it's you probably going to have to get a lot of observers, which means you might be more limited on the number of immortals you have, the number of colossi you have. You don't have to go for the Robo Bay, but at least that's what I'm doing. What are you doing on this map, PBT?
Well, I've been using a lot more Charge a Lot High Templar type play with observers out there because, well, High Templar is going to be pretty good against drops. So you can hit those feedbacks right off.
Yeah, absolutely. So looks like we're almost ready. I believe the players are requesting to get the game started. So obviously this broadcast is piggybacks, but as soon as we get in there, it's going to be really interesting. I'm curious if they're going to get. Who do you think benefits more from cross spots versus sharing a side of the map? Is there one for these two?
It's a good question.
I feel like if Innovation's closer, it favors him.
All right, how about this? If let's say they're on the right side of the map. If SOS is at the top and Innovation is at the bottom, that's good for SOS. But if it's reversed, that's good for Innovation. And that's because the natural hugs the wall. So that cuts off a huge dropping area. So, yeah, I think it just matters. It's like a rotational type of...
Rotation.
It's rotationally symmetric.
Rotational symmetry.
That means that there is some slight balance issues with where they actually end up.
Yeah, that's very
placed.
true. Well, we're going to have to see. Again, if you're new to StarCraft 2 esports, I know we get a lot of new viewers here, obviously because Heart of the Swarm is out now. But if you're unfamiliar with us, we host the Code S here at GOMTV.net. So definitely check us out. There's going to be a new season coming up soon.
Yeah.
I'm excited about. And we got all sorts of great esports action here for you guys here at GOMTV.net. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, indeed. And thank you for watching StarCraft 2 because this is awesome. I'm so glad that Blizzard has made the WCS again this year. Definitely a different format, but we're getting a lot of great players together several times this year. This is not the only seasonal finals. There's going to be 2 more of those, and then the global finals, all of which are going to be awesome.
I love what Blizzard did because last year there was so many esports events all over the place, and there were some people that would just follow maybe like, okay, I only follow the DreamHacks. Some other people only follow the IEMs, the MLGs. Some people only follow the foreign events. Some people only follow the Korean ones. So what Blizzard's doing is they're kind of roping everything together so we can see these guys all get filtered in together into one big epic tournament at the end of the year.
Well, I tell you, we're definitely going to have quite a storyline there at the end, Tasteless.
Yeah, no kidding. A long road ahead for all of these guys. But, by the end of this year, we will have crowned the next world champion. Partying last year was the world champion.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Could do it again this year maybe, but he's going to have to get a little bit better finishes. These seasonal finals give so many points. You really want to make it here if you want to go to that global finals at the end for the ultimate championship.
Oh, man. All right, so looks like we have a little bit more time before this game does get going. What do you think about, the different types of strats we're going to see from these guys? We know that SOS, he likes to use a hallucination a lot. For instance, showing off a hallucinated Colossus, just brushing by a watchtower that's occupied by his opponent, showing a hallucinated Colossus, then going back. The guy makes Vikings. There is no Colossus all of a sudden. Less medevacs, he wins the fight. We see a lot of stuff like that. With Innovation, he's been cheesing a little bit more now than he was, I would say, in the last GSL Codes that we casted, or the one before the last one that we casted. So what do you expect to see?
I think we're going to see mostly a high Templar and just overall Templar tech coming out of SOS. I think that's the right way to play it because, well, Innovation, if you go Colossi, he will hit you right before Storm with an SCV pulse. You have to be very careful about that. He always hits his timings just right with builds like that. So that in combination with the fact that SOS really is kind of more of a Templar player rather than Colossus player, I think that's going to encompass the majority of macro strategies that we see.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they got in store here. Do you think there's any chance of any kind of, we saw some proxying earlier from SOS. Do you think there's any chance of any weird stuff like that? He does a lot of weird builds that I'm always surprised about.
He certainly does, but there's not like a lot of really good proxies in this matchup from either side, really. Mothership
I guess that's
Core
true. There aren't
solves
really
a lot.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for Protoss, it's like, well, I mean, what are you going to proxy, really? I guess on a big map that he might go Command Center first on, it's not bad to go for like a 10-gate or something like that. You could mix something like that in, but it's pretty rare to see the Protoss do that because it's a waste if they just open normally.
That's very true. Well, one thing about innovation, and again, we're trying to, make sure for all of our new viewers, you guys know about these players. If you followed StarCraft 1, there was a player called Flash. He was the player, the best player, and he just played perfectly. And now we're seeing innovation doing the same thing. I wouldn't say there's a lot of guile in innovation's play. It's just like raw mechanical skill and control, which is cool. It's really exciting to watch. But, I'm wondering if he doesn't win here today, do you think he's overhyped?
No, I don't think
so.
You
don't think
the
so?
thing is, he could be a bit rattled after losing to Sulky, and then how close MVP made it, where MVP very nearly won that Game 5. I think he might be a little bit rattled, and if he loses, I think it's because of that. Because still, this guy, here he is, 2 finals right in a row. How is that overhyped?
It's another thing where when everybody in the scene is saying that you're the best, it almost pushes the expectation even further.
Yeah.
Versus,
how do you ever live up to it?
How do you ever live up to that?
If you don't 4-0, have you lived up to it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's another kind of it's actually a common problem amongst, when somebody becomes the best at something, the pressure then is there to deliver. Whereas if you're the underdog, if you lose, well, of course, you were not expected to win. And if you win, oh, my God, isn't this great? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is pretty epic, Tasteless.
Yes,
the next season's starting up really soon. Make sure you guys check out starcraft2.com/WCS. It's the portal that'll show you when all the games are being played from all the different levels in all 3 leagues. Definitely something that you're going to want to check out and bookmark, because there are so many games going on that it's almost impossible to watch them all. In fact, it is impossible.
I believe it's actually impossible.
There's not actually enough waking hours.
Yeah, there's actually not enough time in the world.
No.
Not in a 24-hour day.
No. Hopefully someday we'll have those Matrix things where you can just download all the memories.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to just download build orders in my head. I'm like, all Partings games this week? Okay, and I just slide it right in. I'm like, sick.
And then we have to explain to our kids when they were younger. Back in my day, we had to practice to get good. Like, Grandpa's crotchety and old and weird. No, this is going to be really exciting, though. I'm super pumped. It looks like we're still waiting for the game to get started.
The players actually are not even in there quite yet.
I saw them join a little bit ago, and then they left again. So we'll go ahead and check out what's going on over here. By the way, Tosis, you've been kicking ass lately, doing a lot of casting, man.
Well, you've been kicking ass recently, Tasteless.
Oh, thank you. This is just a big compliment for right here. Well, hopefully, seriously, we do get this game going.
Yeah, I want to see what is.
I don't want to sit here and talk anymore. Actually, like on the camera, I want to actually go in the game. But we'll
very, very much so.
So. I've been informed they're doing an interview right now with the 2 players. So when that is done, we'll get this going. Mm-hmm. We had a little bit of a late night last night. We were casting World of Tanks.
Yeah, that went forever. We didn't. It was 5.5-hour cast for 2 matches.
Yeah, it was
supposed to be like 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Yeah,
but there were lots of draws. Had to do lots of rematches. So when we got done with the cast, we actually just. Ran to taxis and went home and went to sleep.
And laid right down.
So we can come in here early tomorrow. Yeah, I slept all that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, this is really exciting. And what's great about this is, with the new edition of Heart of the Swarm, esports has already gotten so much bigger. Blizzard gives us Wings of Liberty. Boom, we have esports starts to grow at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
But it was growing so fast that it was hard, there was too many leagues. It was somewhat disorganized. Next thing you know, they actually, they bring out Heart of the Swarm, and now everything's a little bit more organized with WCS. And I have the same expectation that it's going to get better and better here with Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing? Because when you look at how much Heart of the Swarm changed the Wings of Liberty scene, it actually made the game like twice as good and twice as competitive. It's such a better game with such a higher skill cap. What in the world could Legacy of the Void even do to it?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They added a lot of great new features. In fact, some of my favorite new features in Heart of the Swarm aren't even the new units. It's some of the stuff they added to the old units, like the medevac boost and stuff like that.
That's very true. Fixing the Reaper around quite a bit and changing up the mothership into a more early game usable unit. A lot of really exciting things.
Yeah, it's super cool. So, let's also remember today we've had a lot, well, not today, prior in a lot of the GSL Code S's, we had a lot of Zerg finals with Zerg's winning. So this is really cool because Heart of the Swarm is still so new. I really want to see what the best Protoss against the best Terran. What do they do? What do they show us? What can we learn?
Yeah. That's the most exciting part for me here because, lately it's been mostly TVZs that we've seen everywhere, like top-end Terran versus Zerg matches, a little bit of everything else, but really those are the ones that we've been watching. So to finally get a really high-end PVT on a big stage, a best of 7, is going to show us a lot about where the matchup's at right now.
And that's what's so great about it being a best of 7 too, is we get to see it on a lot of maps. I mean, that's why we want to have a lot of games in the finals, so we get an accurate idea of who was actually better, and it's not just a best of 3 where you're trying to just climb the ladder. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, certainly is. So hopefully they'll be done those interviews pretty soon, Tasteless. I am jonesing for this match.
All right, we're going to go to the interview actually now. So take it away, Jay.
4강이 결승이라고 생각했어요. 이진영 선수는 안중에도 없었어요.
These are not the words we heard when they were here. The caster judge like, so what are you thinking now that you get to look at Innovation on stage? And it's just like, on my way to the venue, I was only thinking about the semifinals. Innovation wasn't even on my mind.
케미지는 계속해서 안중에도 없대요. 어떻게 해서 잡아주시겠어요?
그냥 자신감 채우고 싶어서 하는 말인 것 같고, 제가 그냥 충분히 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
Innovation saying calmly with that smirk. I think he's just bluffing and he's just saying that to feel better about himself.
이런 얘기 같습니다. 진짜 어딥니까?
And he says,
프로토스에게 최후를
I am
전문에게까지
confident
선전포고해야 될 것 같아요.
I can win today.
이시영 선수에게 한번 써드리겠습니다. 허세랍니다. 괜히 떨리니까 감추려고.
제가 오늘 이신영 선수를 톱라인으로 만들어 드리겠습니다.
SOS is like, as the community was saying, possibly happening to Innovation, I will take him down to the very bottom.
유니폼은 똑같이 웅진 아니에요. 한 번에 패키지로 한 말씀 들어 두 선수에게 동시에 한번 알려주십시오.
김민찬 선수한테 졌던 거 오늘 김유진 선수한테 배로 갚아주겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다.
And Innovation's like, yeah, you know that loss to Soulkey? I will pay that back to SOS with interest.
Some trash talk going down there.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
Paying back that loss with interest. What does that even mean?
Pay back that loss with interest. Well, it's like you got to pay back a bill with interest. You know what I mean?
So like he's gonna 4.5 him.
So I guess. Okay, now I see what you're confused about. All right. I don't know. Maybe that's an expression in Korean that we're not familiar with. I'm not sure. But yeah, pretty soon here, when the trash talk is done, we're gonna get this going. Again, so much on the line here for these two guys. Beyond prize money, beyond notoriety. I mean, future sponsorship deals. A lot rests on this for these two guys.
Yes, it certainly does. And wouldn't it be nice for Woongjin to have 2 championships in as many weeks?
No kidding, right? They say they got not only one player who can win a GSL Code S, but then the next one wins WCS.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Very, very difficult feat. Of course, Innovation, if he takes second here, is he the new second-place curse? Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so as you can see, here's our map lineup. It'll go Whirlwind, Belshire, Vestige, Akalon Waste, Neo Planet S, Star Station, Newark Precinct, Daybreak.
Okay, well, you know what? That's actually a good set of 3 opening maps, I would have to say, Tasteless. The Neo Planet S and Star Station is going to become a little bit harder for SOS, so he's hopefully going to want to take 2 of the first 3 maps to be able to weather the storm back into Newkirk and Daybreak.
It's going to be a really interesting series here. Now, you get maps like Belshire, Vestige. This is one of these maps, Daybreak as well, where they know the other player's starting location, so occasionally we can have proxy tech, stuff like that. But
definitely could be.
We'll see. Again, so much on the line here. Whatever the best builds in the respective matchups these guys have on these maps, they're going to use them now. Everything's on the line.
Certainly are. Especially with no other big Terran vs. Protoss matches coming up, the fact that there's so many WCS points on the line, and the fact that there's $40,000 on the line, we are going to see these two go just full tilt at each other.
Yeah,
They're
it's-
not leaving any tricks in their bag.
All right, so let's talk about Whirlwind. Who do you think wins on that?
Whirlwind, I'm going to give that to Innovation.
Innovation. Okay, I got to agree. All right, next one. Belshir Vestige.
SOS.
I think SOS wins too. I agree there too. Aglon Waste, I'm personally going to go with Innovation there.
You know what? I want to say SOS, but I'm going to go Innovation there as well. And then somehow SOS is going to win Neoplanet S. And then Innovation takes Star Station.
Innovation should take Star Station. That third base is pretty hard to hold there.
All he has to do is figure out what is SOS doing. Because once you figure out what they're doing, you should be able to find weakness in it. Because Star Station, it's so hard to hold that third and hold off drops all at once.
Yeah, it's a tricky map. All right, what about on Newkirk Precinct?
Dude, that is an SOS win right there. You just block the drops and you're going to be
You know,
fine.
you
That
make
map
a great
is
point.
easy for Protoss.
You could just park one or two observers over the southern part of the map. You're going to spot every single drop coming at you.
That's literally
And of course, you
what
have
you
an
need to do.
angle that you can push through towards the Terran's base.
Well, they can't run around you. You know, that
No, they
center
can't.
is so small. You grab both watchtowers, push right through, and what is Terran going to do?
All right, and what are your thoughts on Daybreak here?
Well, I think, I did say 4-3 Innovation, so I guess I have to give him the last map, don't I?
I guess you do. Well, this is going to be pretty sick, Artosis.
Indeed, it will be. We do have Innovation in the game now. So
Oh,
just
that's
waiting
good.
on SOS. Hopefully he'll get in there pretty soon.
Okay. So Innovation almost ready to get this going. All we have to do is get SOS in there, get confirmation, and we will start this game up.
Yeah. And, as far as the win percentages go, I'm just taking a quick glance at their Verse T and Verse P win percentages on these maps. And, yeah, Neoplanet S and Star Station are the two that SOS has not won on yet. So, not
very
all
true.
that surprised about that. All of the other ones, obviously, very good records for them. But those are going to be the two very hardest maps in this pool.
Yeah, that's very true. And you got to look at Innovation here versus P. Almost no stats at all, really.
Yeah.
So there's not even a whole lot we can glean from that because, these maps, they are so matchup dependent when it comes to your records on them. All right, and SOS has joined the game. And guys, please, I want to make sure WCS is trending worldwide. Get out there and tweet and tell your friends to tune in here at GOMTV.net. It's going to be sick. We do have some discussion going on in the in-game chat.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing this very shortly here. And there's a shot of SOS. He's looking pretty confident, Artosis.
He certainly is. Looks pretty calm and collected, so that's actually really important to see. And now they are starting to spam Go Tasteless, so I think we're just about ready.
All right, here's you can see Innovation actually, his hands spamming Go right now. All right, so it's all coming down to this moment. Innovation looking a little bit calmer than he did when he was in the TBT earlier. Although that may change if he loses a few games.
Yeah, that's very true. And don't forget, he was against MVP. There is no more frightening man in StarCraft 2.
Absolutely. All right, so he's already overcame MVP. Can he take on SOS? We're going to find out soon here as the countdown has started. Tasteless with me as Artosis, and we're bringing you the best StarCraft 2 action in the entire world here at GOMTV.net. I almost timed that out right.
Almost.
The game bar was loading.
like
I was like, I gotta get it right on the mark, and then it just stopped. All right. In the upper left, we have our Protoss player. Will he be the champion today? He is.
Wongjin Stars SOS from Korea.
Not everybody gets a second chance, but this guy does. Let's see if he does a better job this time. He is.
STXO Innovation from Korea.
Well said, Tasteless. He does have that second chance.
Yeah, I got a little excited right before I said that. I thought that would happen. I'm like, ooh, this is going to sound cool. So, they are sharing the left side of the map.
Yes, and it turns out that SOS at that top left, you can see his naturals over towards the right. That means there's a huge amount of surface area for Innovation to attack with medevacs. In these positions, I definitely give the edge to Innovation without any doubt. He can fly up there, get the drops going, and it's going to be very hard for SOS to do anything about that. And at the same time, Innovation can just kind of expand towards the right, which is going to make it harder for SOS to get down there and attack as well.
All right. This is, as we said before, an incredibly big map. Now, there's going to be a lot of good opportunities for the Protoss to push here, or the Terran to push, excuse me, and try to harass. Now, we have seen occasionally when things get pretty tense on this map, taking a hidden base, for instance, the center right, not a bad idea.
Yeah, that sometimes really can pay off.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how much that actually works in professional games, because
you don't expect someone to expand somewhere so easy to kill if it gets scouted.
Exactly.
Because it is such a risk, because you send out one scout and see that, probably the game's going to be yours.
And oftentimes, if Terran does that, for instance, you want him to actually use an orbital, not a planetary. Now, you might be saying, why would I want to put a planetary? Why not a planetary? How do I defend it? Well, when it gets spotted, you just pick up and leave.
Yeah.
And try to float it back. It's actually not an easy thing for a Protoss to shoot down a command center that's floating on the far right side of the map.
No, not so easy at all. Well, we'll see what SOS decides to end up doing. He's going to have to play a very tight game in the beginning at least, because, this Terran right now is in a place where they can put on constant aggression while expanding, just constant, nonstop. And unless you slap some piece of that down, you're going to have a hard time getting your bases up and keeping your upgrades going and not hemorrhaging units.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now the Zealot is not quite out yet. We're going to see how many kills he can get off over here. Innovation coming here, trying to do some additional damage. Really nice by SOS, actually.
Yeah.
Not losing a probe just yet. Oh, my God. Gets one down.
Oh! Almost traps it, but no, Reapers are so fast.
They're such slippery units.
Yeah. In the meantime, he does have a probe up scouting, and oh, my God, is he going to get another kill here? That would be absolutely amazing.
He needs to get a Stalker out now. Now, these probes over here in the expansion should be very vulnerable since they're not large in numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really
he gets another one. This is a really effective Reaper so far. 2 kills and a lot of lost mining time.
Oh, nice. I think he's going to go end up knock that up to 3.
Yep. And he's even going to get out of there.
Yep.
Ouch.
And that Reaper's going to regen. It'll allow him to continue to check for expansions.
Well,
so, Innovation's not in a massive lead, but that was a nice little start for him.
This is something that absolutely can happen when you go for the Nexus before you start any ranged units.
Well, this isn't good.
No, that's not good.
That's.
But luckily, that's not a player, so hopefully we won't be able to.
When you're a caster, that's the bad screen.
Yes,
you're casting
indeed.
a game, you're like, we're going to have to talk about nothing.
Didn't we talk about the whole match forever already?
I think we're going to. I hope we don't have to restart. What is that? Is that a ref? Or?
I think it's just a referee, so I think we're actually going to end up being fine once he drops.
Okay.
But going back into what's happened here, if you don't start Mothership Core or a Stalker before your Nexus, you're leaving yourself open to a very fast Reaper coming in and messing you up. And that's what we just saw there. So a little bit of greedy play there by SOS, and he pays for it with 3 probes lives. Definitely a really great Reaper so far. But just to summarize what happened there, SOS got to scout, so that was quite nice.
We're actually back in the game. I think everything's okay.
Yep.
So we'll throw that up on the screen for you guys.
Now, we do actually have an armory going down, so we're going to see Hellbat drops coming out of Innovation here. He also is getting some Widow Mines, and that's a deadly combination.
Yeah.
SOS is going to have to really be on top of that.
Now we have the Reaper coming down here now. The Watchtower, unlike most maps, that Watchtower in the middle of these spots is not actually that useful.
Yeah, it's really
in
not.
cross spots, it's very useful to have, but over here
like
it's like
okay to have. But
yeah,
you
it's
don't
like
need
if
to
you're gonna have it, if you have map control, like put something there, but it's not actually that important. So a lot of the spotting will be done here with the units like the Reaper, something parked right outside the base. To actually try to see if anything's leaving too soon.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look here. We actually have for SS already He does have 2 Stalkers out, and he does have a 3rd one right on the way, so this is really good. He definitely needs a lot of those. He needs a Mothership Core as well, because there's going to be Hellbat drops coming very shortly, and those are as scary for one race as they are for another. Those things get in your mineral line, and you are going to die.
Okay, and as we were saying earlier, getting a lot of observers on this map, pretty common for the Protoss, since there's a lot of just surface area to defend. Okay, here come the Hellbats.
And he did see that coming with his observer. He does have cannons in both mineral lines, so that's definitely going to help out a lot. And look, that really, beautifully done. He needs to get that medvac, does in fact get it, and that was very nice. He only lost a total of 2 probes there.
Yeah, I mean, that was
really
that
good
drop
defense.
was basically not even worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, so Innovation now in a little bit of a deficit. He started out with a little bit of a lead, killing those few probes, but you know, that's one of the things about drops is that it's a bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, you have to do enough damage so that the drop is paid for itself and more. Otherwise, you're trading or you're giving away units.
Yeah. And that's exactly what's happened here. Now, another drop coming into the natural. He does have a photon cannon there. Very fast reaction speed. The medevac does get out, but SOS is reading Innovation like a book. He's completely prepared for everything. And a big part of that, Taste, is definitely those observers you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you got to get a lot of observers on this map. So the medevac's going to go ahead and come around now. And as you can see, you know, he has a free unit there, so you might as well go and check out that watchtower. All right, so we have barracks coming down now. Now, he's going to have to bring back that medevac and repair it, but I don't think we're going to see any more drops. Generally speaking, if you're against a really, really good player and you're both on 2 bases, you're in this matchup specifically, dropping is probably a little risky.
Yeah.
You want him to be on 3 bases because that's where it gets a little tricky to chop up your army. But
certainly. The quicker the drop, the less meaningful, but yeah.
The observer knows.
Another Hellbat drop trying to come in here. Doubt that very much will be done.
Now here's the
SOS
question,
still
is he
ready
going to
for
lose?
it.
I almost feel like SOS should have let him come in and then trapped him.
I think he's afraid. Those are Hellbats in there.
Those are Hellbats.
Got to be careful.
They're not Heaven Bats, Artosis.
No, they certainly are not. Maybe for Terran.
No, Terran, yeah.
So, third Nexus actually going to finish up right as that command center's landing. Very good timing there.
He's going to have to evacuate this here.
How many will he actually end up getting? None so far.
He actually whipped that.
A lot of damage being dealt to that medevac. Ooh,
how many?
Doesn't quite get it. He is going to have Blink pretty soon here, Tasteless. And, trying to drop back in here, but...
Oh, okay. At first I was like, what is he doing?
SOS is really on the ball. He's killed every drop so well.
SOS is just absorbing these medevac drops like he's the Blob or something.
Yeah.
Becoming bigger and stronger. Did you ever see the Blob?
I did not.
It's terrible.
I bet it is.
But it was
Sounds
worth it because I
terrible.
got this joke off the WCS finals.
Well,
so.
I tell you, definitely
the
worth
things
it.
I do as
The
a
joke was
caster,
really
the
good.
things I do for you viewers.
Sacrificing yourself.
Yeah.
Where do you find the bravery?
I don't know.
Okay, so
we got another drop coming in here.
Yep.
And okay, the Reaper's not going to do that much. This is actually just more of a scouting Reaper.
He's trying to
another drop. Yeah. I want to highlight something, but I'll wait for this this drop to end. And notice he's going to target down the medevac. That's exactly what you want to do. Okay, so very subtle things, and I saw Innovation doing this, and I forgot to point it out because like some battle happened. But okay, so he sent the Reaper over there. At first, I said that's a scouting Reaper. No, it's not. He's getting that your forces under attack message.
Yeah.
Directed towards his third base. Then he flies into the main, I should say, dropping the Hellbats there in the hopes that for maybe just 1 or 2 seconds, SOS's eyes will be drawn away and he won't see a good, even 10 probes get killed.
And I tell you what, that it could have worked, but SOS again a little bit too fast, not really losing anything there. So now we're actually at a point where SOS is stabilized very well. He has Blink, he's going to have Storm, he has range for his claw side. Everything looking pretty good. No way to break him right now.
Another attack up here. And this, okay, SOS slightly distracted. He only got 1?
I think he got about 2 probes.
Okay.
And the Blink Stalker's coming up to clean clean up the rest of that. Another medevac drop going off to the side. A big one this time.
And this is not necessarily to get probes. This might be to take out tech structures.
Yeah, this is to do actual damage this time. This is not relying upon SOS not reacting. Doesn't matter if he reacts. This can do a lot of damage.
Oh, and he didn't get feedback out quite in time.
Well, he got one of the medevacs, but a lot of units did get out, and these medevacs have a lot of energy, so he's going to continue to push. SOS guarding that third base, but how much damage is he going to take in his main?
All right, he's going to try to target the Nexus. It's only lost shields. I don't believe it's going to be taken out here.
It looks like he should be able to just barely
actually, yeah,
kill it.
Wait, yeah, okay, excuse me, I stand corrected.
All right, good snipe by Innovation there, and he is up 36 supply right now.
Yeah, he's at he's right now supply blocked it or capped at 177, but his depots will finish soon, and he's going to be maxed out. We'll probably see him both take a fourth, and start to push.
Yeah, that's quite likely. You know, there is Storm out. The armor upgrade is just getting out of control. It's almost to +3 right now for SOS. I don't think he's going to die. You know, that was painful. It really sucks to lose your main Nexus, but I think he's going to be okay through this attack.
Well, we'll see. All right, now he's in a decent position here. You know, I like that blinking towards those Vikings, but a nice storm over there.
Yeah, very nice storm indeed. He does have Guardian Shield up, not throwing down any force fields. He's got to be careful here. There's a lot of Hellbats. I may have been wrong, Tastes. He could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you know what? The Vikings are doing a lot of damage, and it looks like there's actually more units now being sent out, but there's actually an attack at the Terrans third base that we don't have a shot of. There it is.
Yeah.
The Zealots. Coming up now, but I don't know if that matters. So yeah, it does not matter.
90 supply lead right now for Innovation, and GG, he does take that first game.
Man, he did not do hardly any damage with those medevac drops.
No, that's very true. You know, Innovation was allowed to go for that strategy and that style because of the starting positions. If, for instance, their spots were reversed, all those drops would have been a lot harder to pull off correct.
Well, you know, SOS was way outclassed back there.
Yeah, it was rough. You know, he stopped so many drops so efficiently. The one thing that I was a little bit unhappy with was the choice of Blink. I feel like it really didn't help him out all that much there. Spent a lot of money on Blink Stalkers, but he already had cannons in his mineral lines. He already had good observer spotting, and of course the Mothership Core just zapping down drops. So maybe the Blink was a little bit of an overkill.
Yeah, you know,
it's a lot of gas. You could have had more High Templars, more Colossus, more something.
Well, the thing is, if you have the cannon in your main, and then you have the Nexus cannon that you can activate, do you really need Blink? I mean, the Nexus cannon, like, shoots, like, the length of the monitor practically.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually right-click on the medevac and it won't get away.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time.
That is
or
the
if
case.
it's coming in, I mean, I guess it could boost away, but then it would have come in slowly, so you would have been able to get out of there anyways. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about the actual Blink in that situation. You know, it looked like he wanted to have a heavy Stalker contingent to guard his Colossi, but then he also went High Templars.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, you have 2 Colossi to guard. Your Stalkers are just sitting with your main army, not on killing drop duty. I'm not sure. He played really well, but that one piece, I think he just didn't quite have enough muscle for that one attack by Innovation that I feel like after crushing that many drops, there was no real reason he should have died to that.
I got to agree with you. Well, we'll see what he's going to do now in a game number 2 because that is the countdown has started. Excuse me. It's going to be on Belshire Vestige, one-on-one map. So there are certain strategies that you can tailor to one-on-one maps. You can't do on 4-player maps simply because you know the other player's starting location. So we'll see. And we're going to throw that up on screen for you guys and intro these players.